Renzo. On a recent episode, we talked about love. And we talked about an expression that says, amor con hambre no dura, which means love, if you're hungry, doesn't last.
I remember that.
And today, I want to talk about an absolute opposite expression.
Oh, we're going to do another episode about love?
Another episode about love, but this expression is exactly the opposite.
I like that. I love love. I love when we find expressions like this that they're both popular. They both have a long cultural, historical tradition, but they're in opposition to each other.
Exactly. And then you listeners can decide if you agree with one expression or with the other.
Or use them both. Sometimes it depends on the situation.
Definitely. But
what we should tell them. Why are we talking about love? What is this? What is this show even?
You tell them.
Okay, I will. It's Just a Spanish Phrase, the podcast where we dive deep into the background and the history of Spanish expressions, common idiomatic expressions in Spanish, which you can hear also used in Spanish on our other podcast, something you may have heard of, News in Slow Spanish. But here, in Just a Spanish Phrase, we're doing it all in English because we want to bring this to our audience in a fun, lighthearted way.
And talking about love, if you love this show and I'm sure you will love News in Slow Spanish if you don't love it already, you can give it to your loved ones for the holidays.
Oh, it would make a lovely gift.
Lovely. Okay.
Okay, enough of that.
Now, the expression.
Let's talk about love.
The expression says, Contigo, pan y cebolla.
But there's no love in that expression.
Well, let me explain. With you, bread and onions,
Ooh.
Which means when I am with you, I chose you as my partner or as my friend or as a family member, as somebody worthy of my love, I will be with you in the good and in bad, even if we only have bread and onion to eat.
So if I am with you, if I have your love, it nourishes me so much that I can survive on bread and onion alone?
Exactly. That's pretty much the meaning of the expression, which is the opposite of love. If you're hungry, doesn't last. Here,
That's right.
You're hungry, you're eating only bread and onion every day, and it will last forever.
Because you're fed by the love as well.
Exactly.
And what's interesting is that this expression is itself a play on another expression, which is no se puede vivir de pan y cebolla. You can't live on bread and onion alone.
Oh, so maybe deep inside this expression is saying,
yes, you can.
Okay.
If love, no, I think what you said about how it's talking about a love so powerful that you can survive lean times, you can survive hunger and poverty. That's it's playing on that other expression of you can't live on bread and onion alone, which in my research about this expression, I found out it's a really, really old concept. In fact, it can be traced back all the way to ancient Egypt.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, where bread and onion was often used as the expression for, obviously, poor people at that time. They would find other things to eat, but bread and onion was the thing that were the staples that were always available to the poorest classes. And so bread and onion became synonymous with poor food, with poverty.
And that is why, if you love the person, you can eat
just
poor
bread
people's.
And onion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I have been thinking since we started the episode on a nice onion soup, French onion soup. Topped with bread and topped with cheese. I could live off that. It's like I don't need to be in love to eat that every single day. But
so the expression falls apart. No, but really, contigo pan y cebolla. It's such a funny phrase to be so packed with love in its meaning. Bread and onion are not necessarily romantic foods.
They're not, but precisely that's why, it's like, oh, with you, caviar and champagne. Yeah, obviously. But with you, bread
Right.
and onion is like, okay, I love you so much. I'm willing to eat only bread and onion with you. Which, okay, brings us to, do we agree with this expression? Do
That's
you
the question.
tolerate absolutely everything on your partner or not?
Well, it makes me think of a similar expression, or at least a similar sentiment in English, which is through thick and thin, which is often used to talk about a romantic relationship, that two people stay together through thick and thin. It can be used for other types of relationships as well, not necessarily romantic love, but that's the idea, right? That through lean times, through poverty, through hardship, you stay together.
Which is good, but I don't know why. Maybe because these times have been very political, yeah,
Political, yeah.
political. I've been thinking. So I'll give you the exact example. They're not friends. Let's say they're acquaintances
Okay.
who voted for Trump.
Okay.
And they have said, oh, yeah, I deeply disagree with this or with that. Like, they read the same newspaper we read,
Yeah.
they know the news, and some of the news can be outrageous. And still, they are still supporting him.
So you're saying that they're
So it's like,
suffering the negative effects of the policies. They disagree with some of the
yeah,
things.
and still they say, I would still vote for him. It's like,
Well, that's
whoa.
true love, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. I think fanaticism is a little bit like that. Contigo,
I
pan y
see.
cebolla, if we apply it in a broader sense than only human love relationships, we can apply it to politics. It's like, how is it possible that, I don't know, you follow a leader and the leader is doing harm and still you follow that leader?
That's really interesting, because then it's bringing in this implication, this other nuance to the phrase that that love can be so powerful that it strips us of reason.
Exactly.
That
So,
we can
hey,
be.
you're removing my SNAP benefits, you're
Yep.
removing my green card benefits or my passport benefits.
Literally your bread and onion.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
not even
still,
that.
I still support you. I find it fascinating.
That is a powerful love. Okay, so another fascinating bit is the actual history of this phrase. I know I talked about the bread and onion as an idea, which is very, very old, but this phrase, contigo pan y cebolla, it had been around for a while. However, it became widely popular in 1833. Why can I give you such a precise year? Because it was a play for the theater.
A play or a plague?
No, a play, like
a play,
dramatic,
okay.
not a plague. A drama written in 1833, premiered in Madrid and then in Mexico in that same year, written by Manuel Eduardo de Gorostiza, who I just learned about in researching this phrase.
I was like, wow, Renzo.
No, I know it's a really digging into the archives here. But this gentleman, who was a Mexican statesman and dramatist, wrote this play with the same name, Pan y Cebolla, Contigo, Pan y Cebolla, about, it's a play that was doing social commentary on poverty and romantic relationships, arranged marriages. You can kind of fill in the blanks there just from what I've told you. But what's really interesting is that the rumor is that he wrote it directed at his own daughter, who had fallen in love with a pretty poor gentleman, a gentleman who was not of means, not rich. She probably had suitors that were much richer, had much more money, but she was in love with this modest guy.
And so, wait, the father wrote this play as a satire to make the daughter realize she was wrong? Or as a support to let the daughter know, hey, I got you. I understand what this is.
The rumor is that it was the former, that it was a comedy and, satirizing the whole notion, but to try to kind of knock some sense into her. through a
That's a great way to educate a child. Hey, child, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but go see this play before.
I hit play, premiered in 2 countries at once, just so I can teach you a lesson. So yeah, that's commitment from the father. But that's where it comes from. And after this play, which had some good success, the phrase Contigo, pan y cebolla became widely popular in Latin America and back in Spain.
I love it. Okay, so this is the end of our episode, but I want to invite our listeners, if you want to discuss with us, what do you think? Do you think love should be contigo, pan y cebolla, like in thing and in
Through thick and thin.
through thick and thin? Or if you think that amor con hambre no dura. It's like, if you're hungry, that's it. That's the end of the relationship. We can discuss that in our rooms where we practice conversation in slow Spanish for every level, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And Renzo and I both participate in rooms.
In fact, I had a conversation in rooms just the other day about just a Spanish phrase to bring it full circle. Someone one of our listeners had listened to this podcast.
Yes.
And they brought it up.
Me too. I had about a specific expression. So
that's great.
We'll be around to discuss these topics and other topics.
And Rooms is available to every subscriber of News and Slow Spanish. And we can't wait to see you there.
Yeah. Adios.